What's going on, world? It is I, Timmésha Burgess. Now, this video is on a topic that I've talked about before, but I feel it's imperative for me to bring it back to the forefront. Again, for those of you who may be on this same journey, maybe you are, having some difficulty coming to the forefront as it relates to your talents, your skills, your abilities, your know-hows, your experiences, whatever, right? I have a copy of my book, Activate in my hand, and a lot of the times I refer back to these pages for myself. Even though I wrote it, you know what? I don't even like to say that I wrote it. I like to say it's a book that's been written through me. So sometimes, y'all, I'll go back and read through it and just have these revelational moments for myself all over again. And I was just reading on the witch hunts and how those of us born from those ancestors who were hunted down, who were killed, who were murdered for their gifts, in regards to their gifts, who were hung, who were burned because they were spiritual, because they were empathic, because they were clairvoyant, because they were clairsentient, clairaudient, whatever it is. We are the descendants of those who were murdered, whether we want to believe that or not. And so I was reading back through a particular passage that said, how what our ancestors experienced can live on in our DNA, can live on in our energetic bodies without us even knowing it. Stuff that can continue on and cycle on generation through generation through generation. This is what we call generational curses, right? And it's our work to break those generational curses, or those things we call generational curses. And one of them is the fear of being seen, the fear of being heard, right? During the witch hunts, our ancestors who were hunted and murdered for their spiritual gifts, because of their spiritual gifts, taught themselves how to hide. And so that same energetic frequency carries itself and lives on in our DNA, in our energetic bodies and structures. I found that just on my own journey of uncovering who and what I am and my abilities and my spiritual abilities, my skills, my talents, that I taught myself how to hide. And it was almost innate to do that, especially when you are very different from your peers growing up, when you're very unique. The way you look may be unique. The way that you speak, the way that you walk may be very different from your peers. When I get a chance to speak with girls ages 13 and young adults up to 25 years old, but particularly for my young girls, 13 years old, these are some of the ideas that I share about being very unique, being the unicorn in your group. And growing up, we are not typically taught to stand strong and tall in our uniqueness. Not typically. I mean, you may hear about it. You may have guardians around you that tell you to be confident in yourself. But when you're 13, you don't even know really what that means to be confident in yourself. You don't really have the inner language to activate confidence. All you know or hear is be confident in yourself, but you need a reason to be confident in yourself other than just being different, right? So some of these generational curses that I talk about breaking with some of the girls that I get to speak with is the fear of being seen. And I take it back. I take it back to the witch hunts. I explain and I lay out, regardless of belief, this is something that has happened in history. In some way, shape, or form, we are genetically connected through bloodlines to these experiences because our bloodlines, ancestors have experienced them. They have kids. Their kids had kids. Their kids' kids had kids. Their kids' kids had kids. That is us, right? And so if we think that things don't carry over energetically, then I would say that if there's anybody that thinks that things that have happened to our ancestors do not carry over into our own bloodline, then I would say that they are a very uneducated person who hasn't studied energy, who hasn't studied DNA, who doesn't know anything about the physical anatomy, and doesn't know anything about the mind, I would say that they are a very closed-minded person who's probably been living under a rock. So let's get back to the point. So breaking the generational fear or curse of being seen or being heard, breaking the fear of being seen in your talents and in your abilities. For me personally speaking, I know that what kept me broke and broken and stuck and stagnant in my life is the fear of being seen, because of this energetic fear that I've had that I didn't know was there from past lives. Even if it wasn't my own day-to-day experience, carrying these things from our bloodlines is very apparent and very plausible when you're on this journey of activating your superpower, right? Those of you who study past lives, you would know what this is about as well, right? Doing the work and uncovering a couple of my past lives, not all of them. I was only able to uncover a couple of them, and one of them I talk about in the first chapter of this book, Mental Disorders and Witch Hunts. And a part of the activation of triggering the memory for me was watching a TV show on Netflix. It was called Penny Dreadful. You'll read more about that when you get this book. But anyway, so yeah, part of my work, y'all, was being seen and being comfortable with being seen. You know, growing up, I definitely taught myself how to hide, mainly because when I did show up, sorry, I'm outside. When I did show up, or when I did show whatever talents or skills or abilities I had, a lot of the times that was met with some type of discourse, right? There were people in my inner circle, a friendship circle, who I would notice their energy would change towards me. I could tell that they would frown and wouldn't want to be around me, that they were uncomfortable when I showed up or showed any type of talent or skill or ability. So at a very young age, I taught myself how to start suppressing that and hiding that away, because I didn't want to lose the friends that I thought were my friends, right? I also taught myself how to hide, which is a video that I posted before about if you have experienced some sort of sexual trauma, you most definitely have taught yourself how to hide, especially if you are aesthetically appealing, right? If you are aesthetically attractive, you most likely have taught yourself how to hide because you want to avoid the possibility of ever being harmed, right? You want to avoid the possibility of anyone being able to infiltrate your body, your aura, without your consent. So you teach yourself to hide. So, sorry y'all, I am outside, so y'all are hearing everything, the birds, the motorcycles, everything, right? So the work for me, y'all, has been, first of all, coming to the reality that in order for me to be fully in my power, and this is for many of you as well, you got to be seen, you got to be heard, right? Because we're avatars, we're vessels for something much more infinite and much more powerful than just ourselves. And so because we are vessels, we have to allow ourselves to be used as such by infinite source creation. Because we are vessels, we need to be carrying a power. Because we have voices, we need to be speaking. Because we have eyes, we need to be seeing, we need to be feeling. All of the senses, right? This is how source creation is able to have its being through us. This is how we're able to enter into our purposes, uncover why we were even born at all. If we continue to suppress that and hide that, we continue to perpetuate our own suffering. Isn't that something? And so me creating Fireside Chats for Global Women has been, you all know I created this channel in 2018. And this was a part of me saying, okay, it's time for me, not only, here's the thing about putting yourself out there in the forefront and speaking and doing and being seen. you have to have something to talk about, right? You have to have something to write. You have to be saying something. So I wouldn't have taken this leap into creating fireside chats in 2018 if I was not aware that I was being used as a vessel from something much more infinite in me to speak, right? I don't come out here just talking off the top of my head or talking out of my ass. You all know that. Everything that I share is from some form of ancient ideologies. Everything that I share has been because of a certain path that I've walked in my life, where I've been able to gain insight and information from things from places people would consider the shadows or the scary shit. And I bring it to the forefront for those of you it's meant for. So when you are stepping out to be seen, to be heard, to be understood, overstood, understood, right? You're only coming out on this journey, if you've done the work on and in yourself, you're only going to be coming out because you know you have a lot to say. Not just off the top of your head. You know that you are being guided and you are being channeled to do this thing, build this thing, create this business, write this book, travel to this place, say this thing. Whatever it is, you know that you're a vessel for something much more infinite than you. Once you come into that knowledge of self, your confidence heightens because you know that it isn't just coming from you. You know you're not having to make shit up, right? You know you're not the one doing the talking, but something much more infinite is. You know you're not the one doing the building, something much more infinite is. Your hands and your eyes and your voice are just vessels and modalities that this infinite source can use to get its work done. This is your purpose. This is your mission. So I've been able to confidently step out and do all the things that I do, create, say, and write, because I know that I'm a vessel that's channeling something much more infinite. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. To those of you who have a fear of coming out, being seen, being heard, you have some type of trepidation about your talents and your abilities and your skills or whatever it is you're supposed to bring to the world. Let this message be your confirmation that if you don't, you will continue to suffer. I know it's a hard pill to swallow, but it is what it is. Hope you've enjoyed this, y'all. I'm doing my best to keep these videos short, to keep these chats short. Let me know what you want me to talk about next, okay? To those of you who are subscribed here, thank you for subscribing. Obviously, if you are subscribed here, then I am saying something that resonates with you on a deeper level, and I'm glad to know it. To those of you who have not subscribed here, what the hell are you waiting for? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now, like and share this video, and also comment down below. Make sure you get your copy of Activate, Unorthodox Philosophies that explore anxiety, depression, and suicidal thoughts as symptoms of suppressed superpower. And get your ALCHEMINITY merch. Fear, Feminine Power is a mental disorder, and as you all know, there is some new merch coming to the forefront. But visit my LinkedIn. It'll take you to the ALCHEMINITY merch, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. All right, I'll see y'all in the next cast. Ciao for now.